I've been walking in a circle with a borrowed name, smiling in mirrors but it feels the same. Like I memorize a face, not a soul, playing a part in a comfortable role. Every day dressed in acceptable skin, but something quiet keeps knocking within, saying there's more than the script you read, more than the mask you agreed to be. I try to find me in crowded rooms, in louder voices and louder tunes, where other people like second clothes, hoping the fear would finally close. But every compliment slid right through, couldn't stick to a shape, not true. I'd nod and laugh, but inside I drift, a ghost wrapped in a social gift. Late nights talking to the ceiling fan, asking questions no one can answer, clean in a simple line. Like who am I without the design of fear and habit and old defense, of learned reactions and false pretense? If I peel it back, what remains? Sunlight or a list of stains. I chased success like it held a key, thought achievement would label me. Stacked small wins in a careful pile, waited to feel it after a while. But the summit looked like the ground, same old echo, same old sound. I stood there high with a hollow chest, realizing the climb wasn't the quest. So I got quiet, let the noise decay, sat with the parts I push away, the anger, doubt, the shame, the fear, all the things I hate to hear. And in that silence, raw and wide, I met a version I used to hide. Not broken, not beyond repair, just human, trembling, standing there. I started small, like learning my taste, what feels like truth, what feels like waste, which dreams are mine, which ones I stole from someone else's shining gold. I let myself say I don't know yet, a sentence I used to regret, but freedom lives inside that phrase, an open door, an unwritten page. Some days I feel like I disappear, edges blurred, identity unclear. Other days sharp like a rising flame, certain I'm close to my real name. It's not a straight line, it bends and sways, a maze disguised as ordinary days. But every step confused or short still teaches what I endure. I stopped trying to be complete, started listening to my heartbeat, the rhythm messy but alive, proof I'm not just built to survive. I'm built to question, built to roam, built to carve a moving home inside a self that shifts and grows. A river only the river knows. Maybe I'm not a final form, not a statue fixed and worn. Maybe I'm weathered, maybe I'm tired, 1,000 versions side by side, and peace arrives when I allow all of them space in the now. Not picking one to crown as king, but hearing the choir sing, somewhere between who I was told to be and who I fear I'll never see. There's a quiet figure walking slow, learning the shape of letting go, perfect answers, rigid frames, chasing praise and dodging blame. And in that walk I start to find a softer outline of my mind. I'm not lost, I'm under construction, every doubt a small instruction, every mistake a guiding sign, pointing deeper down the line, toward a self that isn't loud, doesn't need a cheering crowd, just breathes in truth and stands in place, unapologetic in its space. So I keep moving, gentle pace, meeting myself face to face, again and again in different light, morning clarity, midnight fight, and every meeting leaves a mark, a glowing thread inside the dark, weaving a map I slowly read, somewhere between me and There's a voice in my head with a careful tone, saying sit back, don't stay unknown. Every time I stand it pulls my sleeve, whispers reasons I should leave. Before I try, before I fall, builds a cage out of maybe and no. The what if stand like a concrete wall, tall enough to block the call. I wake up carrying that weight, cold little judge that loves to wait for a slip, a crack, a minor mistake, just to say see you're fake. I nod sometimes, I almost agree, let it rewrite the shape of me, shrink my steps to a safer size, live a life in lowercase lies. But there's another sound underneath, a softer drum, a hidden belief, not loud enough to steal the room, but steady as a quiet bloom. It says breathe first, don't decide. Fear talks big but truth's inside, and truth don't scream, it doesn't rush, it speaks in a patient hush. So I sit between the push and pull, a glass half empty, a glass half full, doubt on one side, fire on the next, both writing lines in the same text. I used to think one had to die, that courage meant I'd never cry, but strength looks different than I was told. It shakes and still decides to hold. Every step forward feels like theft, like I stole a chance I'm not, oh yeah. Heart racing like I broke a rule, just for dreaming outside the school of safe decisions, guarded plans, approved by invisible hands that never lived inside my skin, never heard the war within. Some nights doubt wins the final round, pins my hope to the ground. I scroll through lives I'll never be, measuring worth digitally, and every highlight cuts me small, a shrinking echo in a hall of shining versions I can't match, a mirror I just wanna smash. But morning comes with a thinner blade, doubt still there but slightly frayed. I lace my shoes with a fragile grace, look fear softly in the face, say you can walk but not steer, you can talk but I still hear my own pulse under your tone, a rhythm stubborn as a stone. I don't erase you, I don't pretend, you're not a part I have to mend, you're a shadow cast by care, proof I'm aware, proof I dare to want something beyond the line, to reach for a personal sign that life is more than staying still, more than bending to your will. So we coexist, a tense duet, every victory small but set in the record of trying anyway, of choosing motion over gray. And each time I move despite your thunder, dressed as insight, you shrink a little, not gone but tame, a quiet, a whisper without the claim. This quiet war may never cease, but it teaches a deeper peace, not the peace of empty air, but breathing heavy and still being there, still showing up with shaking hands, still drawing imperfect plans, still speaking even when the voice cracks under the weight of choice. And maybe courage isn't clean, maybe it's raw and rarely seen, a messy act of standing true while doubt recites its point of view. But I'm learning I'm not the war, not the voice, not the score, I'm the space where both collide, and I get to choose the side. Tonight I'll rest with that in mind, not doubt free but more aligned with the part of me that stays through the storm and foggy haze. Quiet war inside my chest, still raging but I rest, knowing every time I rise I redraw my inner skies. Woke up late but I still made the bed, sunlight leaking gold over my head, coffee, breathing steam in the air. Tiny victory floating there. No parade, no crowd, no sound. Just a quiet okay I found in the middle of a restless week. A fragile calm I get to keep. World keeps yelling bigger, more. Run faster than the day before. But I'm counting steps they never see. Little wins that rescue me. Like answering calls I used to dodge, crossing fears like a shaky bridge. Every inch is a private climb, measured in a softer time. I used to wait for fireworks to prove my effort really works. But life is mostly subtle shades, not every triumph loudly plays. Sometimes it's getting out of bed when heavy thoughts fill up your head. Sometimes it's saying I need space and meaning it without disgrace. I celebrate the smallest proof that I'm still standing on this roof. For moments stacked one by one, quiet battles slowly won. A glass of water, a deeper breath, choosing hope in the face of stress. Writing lines instead of doubt, letting the poison trickle out. Friends might never read the chart of all the progress in my heart. They see a day, I see a war I didn't lose like before. And that's enough to toast tonight. No spotlight, just a pilot light, burning steady, low and warm. Shelter in the middle of storm. Some days when it looks like rest, turning chaos down in my chest. Closing tabs inside my brain, letting silence break the chain of constant pressure to perform, to be reborn in a perfect form. I'm human shaped, I bend, I bruise, and still I rise. I still choose to try again at noon. Choose to believe the change comes soon. Choose to forgive my slow pace. Look in the mirror, give it grace. These are medals no one awards. Invisible but sharp as swords, cutting past through doubt and fear. Marking proof that I'm still here. Write my victories in the air. Breath by breath, a whispered prayer. Not to be the best alive, just to continue to survive. With a little style, a little flame, a signature under my name. On days I almost disappeared, but stayed though shaking, though scared. So here's the progress, dressed in greater gentle winds that choose to stay. After the hype and noise are gone, they hum a quiet ongoing song. And I walk to that humble beat, counting gold beneath my feet. Every step a subtle crown, small winds holding me down. No finish line, just open sky. 1,000 chances just to try, and in that trying I collect moments the world tends to neglect. But they build a life that fits my skin, a soft cathedral built within. Brick by brick, slow and true, small winds carry me through. Standing at a door with no name on the frame, heartbeat spelling out a warning the same. Every step forward feels thin as glass, like the future's a question I'm scared to ask. Air tastes different this close to change. Familiar fears start to rearrange, painting shadows on the path ahead, filling quiet spaces with what I dread. My comfort zone calls me back by name. Soft little promises stay the same. It says you survived this far, don't risk the fragile balance inside your chest. But there's a pull I can't ignore, a silent wave behind the door, a trembling hope I try to hide, breathing heavy at my side. I scroll through visions I can't define, half of them dark, half of them shine. My plays, movies in worst case tones, building futures out of broken bones. I know it lies, but it sounds so real. Every maybe cuts like steel. Still I'm frozen in between what has been and what could mean. Fear is logic like a suit and tie. There's every reason I shouldn't try. Talks in numbers, talks in facts. Bills is thrown on what I lack, and I almost bow, I almost agree. Shrink my dreams to a minor key, but deep inside there's a rebel spark, tracing shapes in the dark. It whispers life ain't meant to fit. Inside the lines you're scared to quit. Unknown roads are how you grow. Roots need cracks to learn to show. Through the pavement of routine, through the safe and the unseen, through the doubt that guards the gate, pretending it's protecting fate. My hands shake, reaching for the knob, like I'm volunteering for a sob, like pain is waiting on the other side, with a patient grin it cannot hide, but staying still has its own price. A quiet erosion, cold as ice, a life unlived, a muted tone, a crowded room where I'm alone. So I breathe with the fear, not against. Let it speak, let it vent. It's a passenger, not the wheel, a signal that the moment's real. Every dream that ever grew started when nobody knew how it ends or if it breaks. Still they move for movement's sake. I'm learning courage isn't loud. It doesn't always draw a crowd. Sometimes it's a fragile step, while your pulse is a tangled thread. Sometimes it's a whisper, yes, through a storm inside your chest. A quiet deal with the unknown. I'll walk with you, but not alone. If I fall in motion, not stuck inside a silent ocean of what is stacked to the sky, watching chances drift by. I'd rather bruise on open land than rust with a perfect plan. Never tested, never torn, safe but slowly worn. So I rest my head against the fear, feel its rhythm, keep it near. Not as a cage but as a sign. I'm standing at a living line between the person that I was and the one I'm scared, because I know becoming that surprise. Maiden leaps, not an advice. Tonight I stand at the edge and stay long enough to hear it say, you don't need to see it all, just trust your foot when it falls forward into open air, carrying doubt, carrying care. And in that fall I start to see the unknown is also me. Alarm sings low, I don't hit escape. Let the light redraw the shape of a room I used to leave in gray. Now I breathe before the day. Cold floor teaching me I'm alive. Tiny shock just to arrive in a body I ignored for years, running purely on my fears. New habits feel like borrowed clothes. Stiff at first, nobody knows how awkward growth can really be when you rewrite identity. I pour water instead of doubt, let the silence stretch it out. Used to fill it with endless noise, now I sit with simple joys. Window crack, the city hums, life reminding me it comes in ways that don't ask if I'm ready. They just arrive, heavy and steady. So I build rituals small and slow, seeds I'm learning how to grow. Not for applause, not for a trend, just for the man I'm trying to mend. I write a line before I scroll, feed the page before the whole of endless feeds that steal my time. Just distraction up as shine, pen scratches like a gentle train, carrying pieces of my brain onto paper where they rest. It's crowded in my chains, less crowded where they rest. Less crowded in my chest, less crowded in my chest, yeah. I stretch minutes like warm glass, let old reflexes pass. The urge to quit, the itch to run, I greet it like an old friend done. With ruling every move I make, every promise I would break, to the version of me that tried and got lost in the tide, and I lost in the tide. New habits whisper, they don't shout, they're built from what I'm about. Becoming where nobody sees, choosing long-term over ease. A walk of dust instead of doom, fresh air cleaning out the room. Inside my head where storms would sit, Now there's space in this. Some days I slip, forget the code, fall back on the older road. Muscle memory of regret, a script my nerves still can't forget, but I don't count it as defeat. I place it gently at my feet, a lesson shaped like yesterday, guiding how I move today. Progress isn't crystal clear, it flickers then it reappears in cups of tea and earlier nights, and softer thoughts and fewer fights with mirrors that would criticize every dream behind my eyes. Now I nod at my reflection, working toward a quiet connection. I stack these choices brick by brick, not dramatic, not too quick, a patient architecture of change. Simple moves that rearrange the way I stand, the way I speak, the goals I let myself seek. A future built from daily art, tiny edits of the heart. And in this rhythm I find proof, I'm rebuilding the roof over doubts that used to reign, unfiltered into my brain. New habits like a steady drum, saying look how far you've come. Not finished, not perfect, still in flight, but leaning gently for the light. Morning sitting heavy on my spine, blanket got a voice so divine, saying stay here, nothing outside. Work the cold or the morning tide, phone glow painting dreams in my eyes. Easy worlds in endless size, but I don't have to move or try, just flow while the hours slide by. Laziness ain't loud on me, it's soft like a velvet screen, wrapping comfort around my bones, turning minutes into stones. I blink and after day is gone, regret humming a quiet song, not sharp enough to make me run, just dull enough to weigh a ton. I bargain with myself in bed, 5 more minutes softly said, 5 turns 30, 30 more, time leaking under the door. I feel the guilt knock gentle, slow, a rhythm I already know, the echo of the plans I made, waiting where I let them fade, waiting where I let them fade. There's a war that looks like peace, stillness dressed in sweet release, but deep inside a restless spark, scratching messages in the dark, say move before you rest, before your dreams collect their dust, before the mirror learns your name, that someone always almost came. I sit up like I broke a spell, gravity pulling extra well, every limb a quiet protest sign, every thought a tangled vine, but I swing my feet onto the floor, a tiny wind, nothing more, still it cracks the frozen air, proof I'm choosing to care. I don't chase thunder, I chase steps, micro promises I kept, wash my face, align my breath, shake the fog of comfort, death, cold water riding on my skin, wake up the day is thin, fragile as a sheet of glass, walk careful but let it pass. The couch still calling like an old friend, offering a loop with no end, I nod but don't return the call, stand awkward in the hallway wall, between the urge to disappear and the will that brought me here, the narrow space where choices live, where I decide what I give. Energy grows in hidden sparks, motion lighting up the dark, each small task a lifted weight, opening a rusty gate. Home apes and whispers keep the pace, you don't have to win the race, just refuse to fully stop, let effort slowly rise on top. Some days I lose, sink back down, wear the softness like a crown, hours melting, idle hands, unfinished, scattered plans, but I study the fall, not drown, turn the lesson back around, tomorrow isn't here here to blame. It's another round of the game. I'm learning laziness ain't a curse. It's a rhythm I rehearse and break with patience, not with hate. Kindness is the counterweight. I talk to myself like a friend, not a judge demanding an end to every flaw, every delay. That's how I move anyway. So I rise imperfect, slightly late, still stepping through the gate of a day that almost slipped away, but found me choosing stay in motion, effort and breath, in the quiet defiance of rest that tries to chain me to the floor but doesn't know me anymore. This slow fight with gravity, shaping who I'm meant to be. Not a hero, not extreme, just someone loyal to a dream, who stands up one more time than not, who works with what he's got and calls that victory enough, a gentle kind of tough. Morning slips in through the blinds, soft gold stitching on my mind. Last night's worries on the floor don't look as tall as before. Air feels clean, a brand new page. No history inside this space, just a heartbeat and a chance to rewrite the morning dance. I sit up slow, feel the weight of dreams still knocking at the gate. They don't scream, they gently press a quiet, steady tenderness, reminding me I'm still allowed to speak my hopes out loud. Even if my voice shakes thin, the day still lets me in. Coffee warming up my hands, like a map of future plans. Steam rising like a sign, everything unfolds in time. I don't need to rush the sun, it shines, whether I sprint or run. My job is just to meet the light with open eyes and slight delight. I tell the mirror we'll be fine, not perfect but aligned. Scars and doubts still in the frame, but they don't erase my name. They're chapters, not the ending. I learned to comprehend, proof I walk through darker rooms and still make space for blue. She's by the door like a quiet day, step outside, fresh air, city stretching half awake. Every soul with something at stake, and I'm one more rhythm in the stream, carrying a private dream, small but burning steady, clear, a compass I keep near. I used to wake with borrowed fear, future shouting in my ear. Now I greet it like a guest, offer calm inside my chest. We can walk but you don't steer, I decide what matters here. Each breath a subtle claim, I'm not the same. Motivation isn't a roar, it's a hand on the door, a whisper saying try again, even if you don't know when. The results will show their face, trust the movement, trust the pace. Roots grow silent underground, long before they're found. So I stack intention brick by brick, keep the promises I pick. Drink water, stretch the spine, send a signal down the line to every cell that used to doubt. We're still in this, no way out except forward, inch by inch, past the urge to flinch. Sun climbing in my chest, private east, a glowing crest, lighting corners I ignored, rooms I finally explored. There's work to do, but I don't dread the miles waiting up ahead. They're just roads I get to trace at my own pace. If I stumble, morning stays, it doesn't cancel brighter days. It simply watches warm and wide while I learn to walk with pride. Not loud, not wild, just true, faithful to the things I do when nobody's around to see the shaping of me. So I step into the hum of everything I'll become, carrying light behind my ribs, a gentle fire that lives in ordinary moments, dressed as coffee, breath and quiet zest, and that is more than enough for soft, unbreakable stuff. the roads I've been. Corners cut, good intentions spent. Every line a faded mark. Little signatures in the dark. Used to read them like a crime. Every era doing time. In a cell inside my head, where regret replayed what I said. I wore my failures like a stain. Tried to scrub them in the rain. Memories a stubborn dye. Doesn't leave just cause you try. So I ran from the evidence. Built my pride like a fence. High enough to hide the view of the things I knew. But silence has a way of teaching. Every scar is softly preaching. You can't erase the path you took, but you can learn to read the book. Every chapter written wrong still belongs inside the song. Without the cracks there's no design. No hidden rhythm in the line. I look back now with gentler eyes. See the kid in bad disguise, trying hard with broken tools. Learning life without the rules of patience, balance, measured pace. Just a heart in a reckless race, tripping over its own speed, calling chaos what it needs. Mistakes were maps I couldn't read. At the time I called them bleed, but distance turns the angle clear. Pain translates when you're not there. What felt like endings carved in stone were detours guiding me alone to rooms I never would have known if I'd stayed safe in the zone. I apologize to ghosts I made, promises I never paid. Thought guilt was how you show you care, a heavy cross you always wear. Now I see repair is bread, not a slow romantic death. It's action stitched with honest thread. Living forward what you said. Some lessons bruise before they bloom. Kick the air out of the room, leave you sitting with the sound of your ego hitting ground. But in that echo there's a seed, a quieter, humbler creed. You're not above the fall, you're just allowed to stand at all. I think the nights I got it wrong, they rewrote what I call strong. Not a wall that never breaks, but a shape that bends and wakes. Adapting to the weight it feels, learning how to turn the wheels of consequence into a guide. Not a place to run and hide. I carry errors like gold keys. They don't lock me, they release doors to versions I outgrew. Proof that change is something you do. Not in theory, not in speech, but in the distances you reach between who you were before and who you're choosing more. I'm still a workshop, sparks and flame, still misfiring in the game. But now I write it in my skin. Every loss is folded in to a blueprint, rough but mine. A crooked, honest design, built from moments I outlived and the grace I learned to give. So when I stumble I don't freeze, I study how I meet the breeze. Feel the tilt, adjust the frame, call the lesson by its name. Not shame, not endless blame, just feedback in a human game, where progress walks a fragile line between the fall and the climb. Ink made from mistakes I keep, writing promises I can't delete. Across the hours, across the days, a testament in subtle ways that I was here. I tried, I grew, turned broken notes into a view of a life still being drawn. Wrong, then wiser moving on. crowd in the room when I make the choice. Just a whisper, fighting noise. Bed still warm, the clock says wait, but I swing my legs to meet the weight of a day that doesn't know me. Nothing promised, nothing free, just a field of hours wide, and the will to step inside. Self-discipline ain't steel or chains, it's a rhythm in the veins, a soft command I repeat when comfort curls around my feet, saying stay, delay, tomorrow's fine, let the dream stand in line. But I've seen tomorrows fade on the debts I never paid, so I move before the mood appears, action louder than my fears. Motivation comes and goes like a wind nobody knows, but habits walking steady a road, carrying a quieter load, brick by brick a patient art, architecture of the heart. I don't feel heroic when I start, just a man playing his part, filling space with chosen acts, tiny stubborn counterattacks against the pull, to drift and scroll, to hand the wheel, to lose control. Every minute I reclaim, writes respect beside my name. There's a beauty in a plane, doing work that won't explain itself, and fireworks with praise, just a stack of honest days. Nobody claps when I say no to the easy undertow, but inside a structure grows a private strain nobody knows. I talk to urges like old friends, hit them out but set the ends of where they lead and where I stand, a quiet steady hand on the compass of the chest, pointing not to what is best in comfort but in truth, a longer proof. Some nights I'm tired to the bone, discipline feels overthrown, promises blur at the edge of sleep's persuasive pledge, but I bargain small and fair, do a piece, just meet me there, and often motion lights a spark, a lantern in the dark. I learned I don't need giant leaps, just the rules I keep when nobody is in the room. No spotlight, no boom, just me and the fragile thread between the done and said, and every time I choose a done, a quieter victory is won. This isn't war against desire, it's tuning the wire between indulgence and the frame that protects the flame. I'm trying to grow, not disappear, not ruled by whip or fear, but guided by a deeper claim. I respect my name, they stack up like careful lines, messy human designs, but pointed somewhere clear, a future pulling near, built from mornings I showed up, even with an empty cup, trust and effort fills it slow, more than bursts of glow. So I walk this narrow lane, through boredom, through the plain, moments that don't shine or sing, but shape everything. And in their quiet discipline, I feel a deeper wind, not loud, not wild, not grand, just a steady hand. I drew a map in invisible ink, lines you can only see if you think, past the noise and the daily spin. There's a quiet road pulling me in, no signs, no promises clear, just a direction I hold near, like a compass under my skin, trembling where I begin. Dream feels tall from down here, skyline stitched with doubt and fear. Every step looks small and late compared to the legend I create in my head, where I already stand on a perfect shining land. But the real road cracks and bends, test the truth it sends. I walk anyway, shoes thin, carrying hope in a fragile tin, rattling with every fall, still answering the call. Some days taste like dust and delay, nothing moves the way I pray. Hours stretch like empty rails, confidence flickers, pales. I meet mirrors on the route, asking what this is about. Why chase a shape you never touch? Why want something this much? I don't have a clean reply, just a pulse I won't deny, the hunger humming low and wide, a tide I can't hide. People will pass with safer plans, solid ground and steady hands. I nod, I smile, I understand the beauty of a certain land, but my feet learned a different song, a restless forward longing, even when the night is loud and progress hides in cloud. I collect failures like stamps, weather nights and borrowed camps, moments I almost turned around, set the dream gently on the ground, said maybe later, maybe not, maybe this is all I've got. But the silence after that felt heavier than the path, so I lifted back on my spine, this stubborn dream of mine, not polished, not complete, just a rhythm in my beat, teaching me to love the climb more than some imagined time, where everything aligns and stays frozen in praise. I learned the road is the art, each blister shaping the heart, each wrong turn drawing a curve. Only the walking can serve to translate the distant gleam into a living, breathing dream, built from sweat and patient days, not cinematic displays. There are mornings I move slow, question what I think I know, if the horizon even cares about my whispered prayers. But then I take another mile and feel a quiet style in the effort, raw and true, a proof I grew. I'm not racing, ghosts ahead, I'm walking what I said to the version of me that believed before results were received, and that loyalty alone is a victory I own, a contract signed in breath, honor step by step, miles stretched between maybe and mine, a fragile glowing line I balance on with open eyes, carrying doubt and surprise that I'm still here, still in motion, still crossing this private ocean, with nothing guaranteed or owed, just love for the road. And if I reach it, if I stand, dream solid in my hand, I'll thank the distance first, every hunger, every thirst, because the path carved me deep, promises I learned to keep, turned a wish into a way I walk every day.